flat Earth is like it's going to ignite general knowledge. Knowledge is enough to wake up, not enough to get up. To get up, you need a body, you need a structure. Okay, we know that the Earth is flat. Now, what's next? Next is, fight these people, understand what they have in mind, and try to, of course, keep them from reaching their objectives. When you have to meet with an enemy, just always check what's the best in him.
They divide us by religion, but in the power, they're all united, they're all together. You see Protestants and Catholics, sometimes even, Jewish and Buddhist or whatever, like here. They're so united against flat Earth because they don't want us to wake up.
Those people that want to, make that new world order today, their way, they're very, very scared of the flat Earth. This is why they invest so much against flat Earth, because they realize flat Earth can, take over.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Shout out to Derek Nelson, Whistleblower RP, Stephen Carter from Alabama. Hey, y'all, Matthew Hakim, California, Ohio in the house, Australia. How's it going, mate? So I got a whole bunch of people here. Welcome to the show. I have here a special guest. And before I introduce you guys to him, he's been here before. But this is the kind of guy that I want to have in the show. That's Sam sending me a message. Hi, how are you? Here I am, midnight, and I still can't sleep. Thinking about flat Earth. It's like that almost every night. Yeah, it's the same with me, brother. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And that's true, I'm thinking always about that. It's so important. I think it's so important. Just, it fills up your mind.
It is. It's really important. And I did watch your show with Mike Toon the other day. I should have taken some notes, but I got some things just off my mind here. And when you told him about this guy, Nicholas of Cusa, okay, I found it right away. As I was watching, there was not a debate, it was just a talk between you two. And I found it right there, about him, the whole heliocentric lie, chronology of 500-year Jesuit deception and flat Earth. I mean, it's amazing. Like 600 years. That's what it is. The globe is 600 years old. That's what it is.
In the investigation I've been conducting about flat Earth for like about a year, because I also wanted to be convinced that I was right. So I made that like in a few stages. First we checked NASA, they were lying, and we found out that of course they are lying from day one, from the first minute they were created. And then we checked the media. We saw that there was like a big crusade from the mass media to just try to discredit the flat Earth. And it's like they're investing like billions into that. So we saw that was also like suspicious. And then the third part was to check about the Vatican. And what I found out I didn't even know is that actually they started to invent science a little before they discovered America, which was also a stage discovery. We can talk about it, but that's not the subject now. So about like 600 years ago, they started, inventing science. As they knew that they were going to stage the discovery of America, they had to prepare the people, in order to make them believe, I believe like this, that there was nothing more, after that. There was nothing to see there. The Earth was a globe, and just don't try to go farther. And it started like this. And all the modern science that we have today have been actually invented, never proven, by the Vatican and all their groups and subgroups of people. It's crazy. I never realized that. And this is great. Thanks to flat Earth, we can understand things and see what's going on a little bit. So yeah, about 600 years with that Nicholas of Cusa, they started like shaping up that those scientific inventions. That's it.
Exactly.
That-
Uh, like for some people, like when I moved to Asia and I started studying heliocentrism here in Asia, and just for you to have an idea, it's not that old because China really tried hard to keep their 4,000 years flat Earth cosmology. So only in 1903, China finally had to succumb to Rome and had to accept the heliocentric model. So in China, it's like 120 years old. That's what it is. And here in Japan, it's about, I would say, 150 years old. That's how old heliocentrism is
yeah,
here.
that's true. There is no more China or France or America. Just for like a few generations now, it's just a bunch of people that are placing their people all over the world, all over the place. So when
Exactly.
we talk about China, it's not true. When we talk about China and America, it's not really true anymore. There's not no more countries. There's just like you know groups of people like in the dark, ruling things, and it's it's crazy.
Everywhere is controlled by the Vatican. Everywhere.
The Vatican is first of all the oldest organization on earth, the most powerful, the most wealthy, and the most influential ever. They've been like not only inheriting the Roman Empire, with all their wealth, whatever they stole like for like hundreds of years, and then they kept on taking over and conquering and stealing, and so they have means, they don't even know how much they have. I don't believe they know they have a
Yeah.
number. So they're
Uh,
very,
y-
very powerful, and they've been involved in lots of the constructions of our society, all the infrastructures. For example, I've learned not too long ago that they own about 26% of all the hospitals and the clinics worldwide, and that's the official
wow.
number. That's the official number. That means probably like half. So what do they have to own them? Like what does religious organization has to own? Have to own all these hospitals. So we have to be careful. This is we know who they are. We have to be careful. Doesn't mean that they're all bad. There are good people. But mostly that organization is behind all that we know that is false, fake, falsified for like hundreds and hundreds of years. We know that. So
Totally.
this is fact.
Yeah, one thing that really like when you were talking to Maktoum, and then you ask him why he has to go against flat Earth because there's so many things going on, and say, oh no, because it's oh yeah, the parts that he defended Google censorship and YouTube censorship, saying that companies don't want to be associated with flat Earth, and this is completely stupid because I mean you see the most ridiculous videos on YouTube, people killing themselves like with anorexia, and you see sponsors there. That makes no sense.
I tell you, it makes some kind of a sense because it shows you at what level those people are. That means that it's just hatred that is driving them. There's no like common sense. There is like a personal like vendetta, something that drives them crazy, and they're going to try to use any excuse possible, just to like diminish you and to but they can only convince like stupid people, like people that don't think. They cannot convince the others. So actually they're working for us. They're working for flat earth because they're allowing people that like to think, to see what kind of people are in front of us, what kind of opposition do we have. So see, that's ridiculous. It's but anyways, even though with everything he says, the good thing about that guy, that he was open and he accepted me, in order to discuss, and this is respectable. So always, when you have to meet with an enemy, just always check what's the best in him, because you can use this not only to check yourself, because maybe it might be right on some points, but also to use it in order to fight him, or to destroy him. And the best way to destroy the enemy is to flip him, to make him come back to the truth. But that's very hard. But
Oh,
actually, this
yeah.
is this is what I did. That was a nice conversation, but it allowed you to see him, exactly, what was in his mind, what kind of mind does he have, understand. So
Yeah,
it's not very stable, but it's interesting. So to say,
definitely. And I think he has some Jesuit, I don't know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
backing or influence. So this is a map I did a long time ago. Okay, this is Rome right here, and how they spread all their heliocentric. Slowly, they went to Africa, Southeast Asia here, now India and China and Australia, here New Zealand. They went to the U.S., America, South America, and that's how they did to spread. These are Jesuit priests right here,
Well,
and they make people slaves. That's how they did
and
it.
the Jesuit is like a secret service that was created exactly, again, at the time of the discovery of America, in order to, because the plan was to have a group of people with also almost unlimited power, in order to enforce all those ideas they were going to create, in order to make people believe whatever they want them to believe, for whatever dark purposes they have.
Yeah,
But
that
it's
makes.
it makes sense, everything makes sense.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. Perhaps it was easier to go around like to spread heliocentrism and then go back to Europe because perhaps in Europe would be more resistant to the heliocentric model. So that's the strategy
the
here.
uh,
You know?
the thing is that what I put in my video about that investigation, that actually the first guy to discover America, like officially, was a Viking, was called Leif Erikson. But the thing that most people don't know, it was a Catholic Viking, and he knew the
See,
Pope. And in the year 1001, this is of official history. I don't even check. He discovered like North America. So we know that at that time, the Vatican knew about the Americas like 1,000 years ago, but they
right.
hid it. They didn't spread it. They didn't change their maps. You understand? And then, like
Yes.
500 years later, because it takes time, to put, to make plans like this. 500 years later, they discovered America. And how do I know the Vatican did this, and not the Catholic kings of Spain? Because the Catholic kings of Spain, they financed the expedition, but who distributed the lands of America to Portugal and to Spain? It was the Vatican.
That's
So
right.
how can they distribute the land of America, to the people that finance for their discovery? You understand the
Yeah.
thing? That means it was the Vatican's land. They knew about that land a long time ago, and they decide who to give it to. You don't give something that doesn't belong to you. You give something that belongs to you. You understand? So
Right.
they knew about that
Exactly.
land. Maybe they had also books from before. Also, it's possible. Maybe they knew that before that Viking discovered it. So they knew it for a long time, and they knew that at one point people will, have to discover those lands, and they could not, keep people from discovering that. So they prepare themselves for it, in order for it to be like the end of it.
Yeah,
You
that's it.
understand? So there is something like this. We cannot know everything, but
Now you posted a video very interesting today, and I'm gonna go ahead and play it. That's why I didn't want to talk about it because I
okay,
want to
okay.
play it here. Let's all
Okay.
watch, guys. This is really cool. The translation conspiracy. Let's watch it.
Shalom. You all know about the Statue of Liberty in New York, in the Bay of New York. Holding like a flame like this. With like something on her head, like a star or something, and representing, of course, liberty and breaking free from slavery. You can see there is a chain broken, at the feet of the statue. And we know that statue also is made out of like some 200 tons of copper. Now, that statue seems to be the reflection of another statue that is mentioned in the Torah, but that you cannot see because the translations that you guys have are purposely, inaccurate, in order for you, I believe, not to reach to a certain truth or to a certain, understanding of what's going on. So let me tell you, when the sons of Israel left Egypt, they broke free from slavery. They arrived into a place that's called Pi Haherut, which is translated exactly like this in your translation, Pi Haherut. However, those two words, form, a name which is translatable, which is the Bay of Liberty. You see, P in Hebrew is a mouth, but in that case, when talking about, the shore, it's a bay, like where when the waters are being engulfed like this. So that's a bay. And it's called Pia Herut, the Bay of Liberty. Now, into that Bay of Liberty, there was a big statue made out of copper that was called Baal Tzafon, which is translated to you guys as Baal Zevun. You see, they don't want you to know what it is. But Baal Tzafon actually means master of the North, or the owner of the North, or the keeper of the North. And probably, but that's not sure at that point, designating the North Star. Now, how do we know it's purposely mistranslated? Because those words, Baal and Tzafon, are written many times in many other places in the Torah where they are correctly translated as master and as North. But here, they don't translate that as master of the North. You understand? So maybe there's something here that's trying to keep you from understanding or from reaching. So this is what I wanted to just tell you, and maybe out of this will come out something. But just be careful of the translations that you guys have. Just make sure that if you want to understand the Bible in depth, if you want to understand the Torah, deeply, you need the Hebrew. You need a correct translation of Hebrew. So that's the message.
Great video, brother, and I really enjoyed it so much. That's why I decided to bring it here. And since we've been talking about Antarctica lately, and this translation that you have, we always had in the King James as wind goes around the north and along the south, and now you have showed us that the real meaning is the sun, which it makes sense on the flat Earth model, like the sun goes around the north and goes along the south. That's amazing. If you want to elaborate a little bit more about on this.
No problem. You see, in Hebrew, uh, every word is carefully chosen in the Torah. That means that verse, keeps on going and actually talks about the wind, but not right away. You see, the verse
Hmm.
before that talks about the sun. It's clear. Now that verse keeps on talking about the sun and then starts talking about the wind. So this particular, beginning of the verse talks about the sun, and also all our scholars just confirm it. It's the sun, which, anyways, doesn't make very much of a difference if it was the sun or the wind or anything else, because the point here is just to tell you that actually it's written that it goes, along the south and rotates around the north. You see, there are two different words, but in your translations, usually it's like, it goes around the south and around the north, or it rotates, the north or in the sun, and it's not true. It's not the same word. You understand? You cannot rotate around the south. You can only rotate around the north. This is what it says. You understand? But again, the translations are like, purposely, bent in order for you, just not to reach a certain understanding. And I'm talking just about like the basic meaning of the text, because after that you can also go deeper and everything. But just about the deeper meaning of the text, all the translations are like, wisely, arranged. And I didn't know how much. I knew that it's hard to translate Hebrew. Also, Hebrew is a very hard language to translate. But here, there's nothing hard to translate. Olech in Hebrew is to go. I am going, ani olech. I am going around, ani mesovev, ani sovev. So this is clear, but not for you.
I believe they were already preparing, those
Or
translations were because they had in mind to bring this heliocentric model.
yeah.
So they were introducing the changes.
But don't believe it's only the Vatican or just that side, because our rabbis also, our Jewish sites also translate that way. So I guess that it always there is like some kind of a conspiracy between those two institutions that just don't want you to know. The Vatican for their reasons, and the Jewish establishments for their
Yeah,
reasons too. So because
exactly.
there is no exact translations. Even in the Chabad sites, the Jewish sites, they go with the that kind of translation. So you see, there is like some kind of an agreement in order not to reveal secrets of the Torah, especially about the flat Earth, of course.
Of course. Well, also I should have take the screenshot of the sea barriers because I was just going over the
Yes,
cruise of the High Majesty. It's a ship that sail along the Antarctic Circle. It very interesting how they have the word Antarctic Circle here, and I highlighted some parts, but see Antarctic Circle. They keep saying Antarctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. They even have some drawings how they came across. Let me show you here real quick. Right here. Okay, when they saw, they did some drawings, just like the video you play. But the difference that those drawings were made in the 1800s. You know, when they saw the icebergs and the ice wall, and they refer to as the ice barrier. I just want to show this part here because you here ice barrier. Okay,
yes,
ice barrier, and so that they both form a barrier to the land is undeniable. And so Wilkes was entitled to call both the description as of ice the barrier. So just like you have in that short video, that the translation is sea barrier, right?
yes. The thing is, the word nevachim, which is translated as barrier, actually means an enclosure, something that encloses yourself. That you like into something that's closed. So in Hebrew, of course, there are few words in Hebrew, and every word has different meaning, different angles. And that word nevuchim, it's written when the sons of Israel are being described as locked into the desert. When Pharaoh comes to the chariots and he says, "Oh, the desert just closed up on them," like and it's the same word. So we know that the word nevachim, which is used here to describe the barriers of the sea, it's an enclosure. So that's a barrier. You have to adapt to the text. Like when I talk about the bay of the Liberty, P in Hebrew, it's a mouth, but you don't say the mouth of the liberty. You adapt it to the context, and it fits. You understand? So nevachim is indeed the notion of enclosure, a notion of a gate around something that, and about the sea. You cannot put like a gates, or you cannot put it's barrier. The most correct term that goes and that fits into the meaning of the word is barrier. And this is not springs. Springs in Hebrew is mayain, is not had nothing to do with it. I don't know where they came up with the word springs, you know.
Makes no sense, man.
No,
Makes no
but
sense.
you see the thing that you have to understand, those people don't make much mistakes, and sometimes when they leave, like, they leave some information for us, like this document that you have, all this is actually they're playing the game according to some rules, because they have to let the people that really want to know the possibility to understand, the ability to reach the truth, but not for everybody. If you want to understand, you have to dig, you have to think, and somehow, it's not bad, because knowledge is not given to anybody. You have to, work hard for it, but they'll always give you like an exit, and always give you a possibility to understand the truth. You understand? And this is what they do, because I don't believe they could have just, um just destroy all those documents, very easily, but they leave you a few clues like this. They're playing a little bit with us.
Yeah. Uh, that's why this thing here is really interesting because I made this meme here. Tsunamis never wrap around Antarctica, neither does the sun. So this is what you were describing, and as Ecclesiastes 1:6 says, the sun goes around the north and along the south.
In the same time, yeah. Even though if
Ye-
it's in the center, it goes along the south, because the south
Yeah,
is, the the
exactly. And we have the barrier, the sea barrier here. That's why tsunamis never wrap around Antarctica because it's the limits. The
exactly.
sun. I think there's a passage that says the sea will not transpass. That part. I forgot which verse it is.
There's also so many verses. I didn't myself. I don't even, even know all of them. But there is many. There's so many, indications that the Earth is flat. It's even the word globe does not exist in the Torah. There's no globe,
Yeah,
sphere, ball. It doesn't appear
yeah,
like, the Earth is not a ball at all. Not at
yeah.
all.
Couple shout outs here. Ramon, you're here. History, writing, coherence. How are you, coherence? You've been traveling all over. And Ramon is here, John Latte. Huh? Latte. Oh, sorry. So we're having here with us Flat Earth Reconnaissance, Samuel Abucaya in Jerusalem. It's the second time here, a pleasure. So I want to have you here perhaps every month, once a month if you have time.
It's great pleasure, and I'm also digging, most of the time, the videos I make are made out of information that I didn't even know, like 24 hours or 48 hours before. It's like, by trying to understand things and trying to explain them, I realize things, and I come back on subjects I've already learned in the Torah, but I've never realized that it was talking about like flat earth, and the shape of the earth and all that. I didn't realize that. So, thanks to you guys, thanks to the work you've done, you and all the, flat earth veterans, thanks to you, we understand now a lots of, things in the Torah that we could have never understood, without knowing that the earth is flat. So this is great, because you see, the Torah won't prove you anything. You don't First of all, you don't have to be Jewish, to believe in the Torah. It's just a book of information. So the Torah is going to point to the science, where to dig, and then through the science you're going to be able to prove what the Torah was saying. So it's just like, it's an association like this, between the ancient knowledge, because all these people knew, everything about the earth, and they wrote it in, in such a way that, not anybody could understand, and that, there is a time, for people to understand, and which I believe we've reached today, because, you know people are seeking for the truth at all levels, all over the place, and this is a sign, the sign that, the way the world is waking up. I just hope he'll be able to get up, because, somehow knowledge is enough to wake up, not enough to get up. To get up, you need a body, you need a structure, you need like an organization. So it's a,
Yeah.
first step, and hopefully, I hope that, that flat earth movement one day will take form, and maybe it's what they're scared of, those people, because with so many people, understanding that the earth is flat and realizing how they've been fooled, there is, something to do with this. There is something to, well, that's maybe another subject for another time, but anyways.
Well, totally agree. I think that's why they are so united against flat Earth. Not just like You see Protestants and Catholics, sometimes even, you know, Jewish and Buddhist or whatever.
Yeah,
Like here, they're so united against flat Earth because they don't want us to wake up.
yeah, and I'll tell you something even more. Anti-Semitic people, I can talk to them. I have no problem. There's people that don't like Jews for whatever reasons, and I have no problem. As long as you see someone in front of you that's from, the flat Earth movement, that means he wants to understand the truth. There's no problem that if you have, differences between you, because as long as you want to understand the truth, there will be no losers. There's only you can only win when you look for the truth. So even a guy that just don't like us for whatever reason, and I respect that. They don't have to they don't have to love us, but we can discuss, because in front of you you have like an open-minded person, and sometimes I tell you with what people know. I understand that they can be like this. The problem is that of course they have to maybe they need maybe more information, more intel to readjust what they have to they can think with. But that this is great. It brings everybody together, you know Jews, Palestinians, whatever, are everything, the Christians, doesn't matter. And this is great. This is something huge. It's going to break
It
all
is.
our differences. It's going to unite the whole world, because actually we all the same people. We all live in the same place, and we are
Yeah.
all subject to the same attacks by the same people. We have the
Oh
common
yeah,
enemy.
yeah, yeah. Of course. If you're flat Earth, I mean, they're gonna go after you just like they go after me. You know, that's the situation.
Yeah, yeah,
It
of
doesn't
course.
matter if you're Jewish and I'm
Yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
For now, they're just trying to break the idea. So they create fake sites, fake Facebook pages. They're making fun and everything. But as soon as this movement will start to structure itself, then it's gonna they're gonna go up another level. They're gonna try to infiltrate people among us, to divide us. So those are normal tactics.
Yes.
But I believe that it's gonna be okay. They cannot
Yeah.
stop it. That's why they're so scared. It's like a
Yeah.
tsunami. To stop it, they can't stop it.
Can't stop. All right. Some people here in the chat is asking about Sam. I'm gonna paste his YouTube channel in the chat if you guys want to subscribe. Sam is Jewish. He's not a Christian, but he is in Israel, Jerusalem. And it's a pleasure for me. It's the second time he's been here in the show, and he's welcome. And I have talked to even a rabbi about 2 years ago. I had a rabbi back and forth, talking about emergency landings, and he was really digging into flat Earth. The only problem is that he was writing me like 40 mails a day, Samuel. Like I was like, please slow. He was so thirsty, And I said, please just go slow down a little bit. I don't have that much time. And I think he didn't like, and he never wrote me again. And I tried to reach out to him, and he never replied. But it's just like he was really thirsty, and he wanted all the knowledge possible. It's just like I I I wish I could do flat Earth like full time. I don't. I have a regular business, all that stuff. So but I'm gonna paste Sam's YouTube channel in the chat if you guys want to subscribe. He is great addition to the Flat Earth, you know, family because he is knowledgeable of the Hebrew language and he's bringing the true translation of several words that we have had mistranslated in the King James. It's really sad because we don't have much where to rely on. All our translations are bad. Even the King James, which is one of the best, is still there's a lot of flaws. I actually have another video here that I would like to play. It doesn't talk about flat Earth, but it's gonna make a lot of people as bloods boil because the guy. Perhaps I'll play it today. I'll see. Let's see. Let me go ahead and paste this link here. This is Sam's YouTube channel. If you guys want to subscribe and you know, say hello there. Say hey, Eddie Flat Earth Banjo sent you there. All right. So let me see here. I have one more thing here that I want to. Actually, is this thing here. that we were just talking about, this website on the chronology of 500 year Jesuit deception and flat Earth. This is also an extremely interesting website. I'm going to go ahead and paste the link here if you guys want to check it out later. It's just talking about, slowly how they were able. See here, Jesuits were often highly trained in languages and the science and were expected to use their technical knowledge, especially the realm of astronomy, to win over rulers and elites around the world to and convince them by extension of the superiority of the Catholic message. By 1750, 30 of the world's 130 astronomical observatories were run by Jesuit astronomers, and 35 lunar craters have been named to honor Jesuit scientists. So, I mean, their power of influence, and I believe today perhaps 80% of the observatories are owned by the Vatican.
So that's the thing that you have to understand, that you see at the apogee, at the best times of the Vatican Church, of the Catholic, Roman Catholic Church. It was like a time of what we call in French obscurantism. That means that they were hiding all knowledge. People could not read. They held all the books, and they kept people in the dark for so long. And that was their policy always. Now the thing is that those people on the same time were studying all the books, and translating them. The like I said in one of the videos, the word Illuminati, you heard it, but the Illuminatis, but actually they are illuminators, the people that are making like nice drawings around the scriptures like this, and then they are embellishing the text, but they're also like translators. It is a very very important job, to translate the books that you're going to spread then to the entire world, the way you want them to understand them. So knowledge was always like very important for those people to control, and to make sure that they could bend in order to justify themselves, or whatever belief they had, or whatever policy they had. So we have to be careful about these
Yeah,
people. And again, I'm not talking about the Christian people. I know a lot of Christian people that are a good Christian, is a good man that loves to help. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the people that are above all this, and that are using this manpower here, this masses of people that sincerely believe, in order to just make their agenda, their secret agenda, like progress, secretly. So this is and believe me, in Israel now today, we also have problems with our religious people. That's normal. We're at war. So that's
yeah,
that's that's normal. That's normal. They're
yeah,
playing good. They're good players.
yeah. Hi, hello, Brazilian people in the house. Hello, Além do Horizonte Optical. Excellent flat Earth channel in Brazil is in the house today. Hi, guys. We all know that, there are good and bad people everywhere. I had a Japanese friend here. She was a devoted Buddhist, really devoted Buddhist. And she was like, she traveled to Korea, to meet the Buddhist leaders there. And when she started getting to know those people higher in the pyramid, of power of Buddhism, when she starts seeing some things wrong with them. They all like were members of a secret society. And then she said, this is all one thing, they 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 divide us by religion, but in the power, they're all united, they're all together, they are
So
sharing this, hiding the same truth.
I tell you what's going on. It's very simple to understand. Since they want to create like a world dictator, a new world government, a new world order,
Right.
whatever you want to call it. So they have to control all the rogue elements. They have to control the people that believe in some religious, beliefs. That they have to control the religions. They have to control also the criminal organizations. You see, for example, the all the drug cartels. They arrest all the leaders and everything, all those big people, but they don't stop the traffic. So what they do,
Yeah.
they catch a cartel leader, and then they replace him with someone that's linked to the CIA, whatever agencies they control, and they keep on doing the traffic. But now the difference is that at the top of the cartel, it's one of them. That means that when they'll be ready to transform the world into a world dictator, these people, these organizations that are today like criminal organizations that like sell drugs and weapons, whatever you want, they will never be able to transform themselves into networks of resistance. Because there is
Yeah.
something that you have to understand. In France, when the Nazis came in, and there were three kinds of people that fought really the Nazis, because most of the French people just flew, and came back home. They were the communists, they were the Jews, and you know what? They were the bandits. You know, the bandits were also fighting the Nazis because they were in the underworld, and every time they saw like a Nazi patrol, they just used to just kill them, and then go back, into their underworld. And they learn about this, that all the rogue organizations, criminal organizations that today sell drugs and everything, tomorrow they can change their infrastructure in order to sell medicine, weapons, food to people, and they know that. So that's dangerous. So they have to control them. Same thing with the religion. They have to put on top people that are going to spread. They're going to be like a part of them. That means that the people will never be able to rebel because it's going to be held by people that belong to them. It takes time, it takes decades, but that's what's happening. So actually, the Buddhism has many good things. It's a good, they're talking about very nice things. But on the top of that, you have a guy that's ready, like a sleeping, leader. That's
Yeah.
when the world will flip. Then it will be, with them. So they own already the religions. They own most of the criminal organizations. But they're working hard. It's very hard for them. But it's they're progressing. They're smart.
You you got it, man.
But
Yeah, that's right. They control everything, even the criminal organizations.
of
In
course.
Brazil, we have those drug cartels in Rio de Janeiro, but the top leaders and the police, they are like connected, you know?
Yeah, but that's normal. This is normal. But what I could say to all these people, if I could reach them, is that now you might be selling drugs and everything and making money with this. This is your business, but realize something, that one day you can make even much more money by selling, basic things to people. Because now you have maybe like 1% of the market, because nobody, not everybody uses drugs, but everybody eats, and everybody
Right.
needs medicine. And at one point, you guys that have like submarines, and you have like planes and hundreds of bank accounts, and you have an infrastructure, in order to do your business. Tomorrow you can transform that into a network of resistance, which should be much more profitable for you than what you do now, much more.
Yeah,
So
that's
just be ready to to adapt.
all right. All right. I have so going back to the biblical flat Earth.
Yeah,
You were discussing with Mactoon, and then he was, 2,000 years ago, they knew all that stuff. Okay. So this is an archaeologist. It's just a short video, about a minute. I want you guys, yeah, not just Sam, but the people in the chat, watch this. Josh McDowell, he's a renowned, world renowned archaeologist. See what he has to say about those books that supposedly were written thousands, 2,000 years ago. You know, let's see what he has to say about this stuff.
For example, with Pliny the Younger, for the time he wrote, the closest copy is 750 years. Caesar and the Gallic Wars, 950 years from the original to the closest copy. Plato, 1,300 years. Aristotle wrote his Poetics around 343 BC. And even most classical professors at university don't know this. The closest copy is 1100 AD. 1,400 years separates. Euripides, 1,500 years. Catullus, 1,600 years. Men and women, when it comes to the scriptures, we go back within 50 years. And here's a diagram compared to other things of history.
All right,
This is
let me.
this is true. This is great because I checked also. They have like a guy that called Flavius Josephus, that was supposedly a Roman converted to Judaism, that wrote about the wars of the Jews, and and
Yeah, yeah,
about where are his original writings. They are known, and the only thing that we have today that confirms that that guy ever lived, it's a copy of his writings made by the Vatican in the year 1100. You imagine? It's like it's like they are proving, by themselves and to themselves, by writing something that they say existed like 1,000 years before. So they you have to be crazy, you have to be stupid to
yeah. I
accept.
found out a lot of those documents. They were written in 1100s. You know,
Yes, exactly. Of
a
course.
lot of them. And some of them, like he says, supposedly that's when it was written, but all the copies are like 1000 AD, 900 AD, 1100 AD. You know, and how come these guys say stuff like that? Like, oh, we've known that for 2,500 years. No, I mean, there are no existing documents demonstrated that stuff. It's all made up stuff.
Yeah. And illusionists, they make you, you know, believe, like, that, that all those things. But when you check a little bit, when you think a little bit, and this is the point, you have to think. You have to always think, always double check things, because if not, you're gonna be fooled, very easily fooled, like a child, like, a naive little kid, just wandering around. You have to just check things. But sometimes it's so big that you say, no, that's not possible, and why would they lie about this? And this is, again, the whole point. You have to understand why. There is a reason. There are many reasons, and good
It's
ones.
overwhelming, man. But sometimes, like, man, we are fighting against powerful people. And just to have an idea, like, for example, what you just said, like, they say a lie told over and over and over becomes a truth. So just think about heliocentrism. When you start school, we deal with education here, books and kids. First grade books, the globe is there. Second grade group, the globe is there. Third grade, fourth grade, until my daughter, she graduated high school, it's still the same thing there. 12 years learning the same thing. I mean, it's hard, man.
But the mechanisms of the brain, is known. There are books, very ancient books, that have been written about how the mind functions. There is something also very exceptional that I read, in Judaism. I never knew about this. Rabbi said that, if, for example, if you a man that looks too much uh, at women, that likes to see beautiful women, and too much is looking too much at women, at one point is going to start looking at men, because the beauty that is looking into women, at what point will fade out, and it's going to start looking into the same beauty into men. So you understand how the mind works. So this is sick when you think about it. It's like, wow, how does it work? So those people, they know all these mechanisms, they know all these things. So they're using it, and they have books. And I tell you, if you want, real quickly, I tell you where most of their books come from. The Jewish temple in Jerusalem, actually held books, and most people won't tell you this. There are a lot of allegories, a lot of things that are being told, that in the temple there were like all kinds of things. But the temple of God is not to hold like gold or dollars or diamonds, because it has no value for God. The best thing for God is books, and we know that there were books, because the day that Solomon inaugurated, the temple, it is written that he gave 120,000, big animals, like cows and everything, and sorry, 120,000 small animals like sheep and everything, and 22,000 big ones like cows. And we know out of this that it was not really like for eating, but it was actually the parts of the animal the most valuable, which is the skin, because in the skin we were writing books. And actually, it's written also in the Torah that he wrote something like about 4,000 books, like 3,000 songs and 1,000, whatever. So where are those books? So you understand that actually, when he talks about like big animals and small animals, he talks about, like parchments, talks about scrolls. This is hidden, all this. But then you understand that 5 years after his death, the king of Egypt came and took all the treasures of the temple of God and the temple of Solomon, and took them to Egypt. And when you check that out, you see that in the next 1,000 years following the destruction of the temples, all the philosophers of the world, came up. Confucius in China, Plato in Greece, and all those big guys. So they had books that they could not understand because it was written in Hebrew, and also in a very particular way to hide secrets. So they had to steal Jews in order to translate those books, and with whatever they understood, out of these books, they made all their philosophies. You understand? So the Vatican
Mhm.
has some of these books that were written, at the time of Solomon. Not all of them. They have some of them, and there were also books that were written before that I believe also reached the temple, and or are still hidden, today, still to discover. So this is where they might get those books. But again, those books are very hard to understand. Not even rabbis can understand, and not even like scholars today can understand them. So at one point, knowledge will come back, and we're gonna have to retrieve all these books and understand them and use them the right way. I
Yeah, the Vatican vault, as Ramon Gonzalez posted here, we need to have access to those, underground uh, libraries.
Of course.
We're gonna have a short break. I'm gonna play a song, just 5 minutes, and just because we were talking about the sun going around the north and along the south, and this is the animation that shows that even the so-called satellites and the ISS never goes around the Earth north to south. Always goes that never covers the North Pole or the South Pole, right?
Only
So
east
let
and west. Yeah.
yeah. So short break. Sam and I will have some water, drink something. Please enjoy this song.
Don't believe the papers, don't believe the news, 'cause all that they serve you are opinionated views. Don't switch on my TV, 'cause all they do is lie. And I don't need no programming telling me what to buy. But I believe the truth will set you free. I believe the truth will set you free. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe the news. I don't believe in war. What are the reasons why they're for? Don't believe celebrities pretending to be what they ain't. Make poverty history, they say, posing the same. But I believe the truth will set you free. I believe the truth will set you free. I believe the truth will set you free. Yes, the system will give you what you deserve. It's all run by Ben judges and Lucifer they serve. Don't believe banks are honest, they fleece you to the bone. And when there's nothing left to get, they'll even take you home. But I believe the truth will set you free. 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 Don't believe the papers, don't believe the news, 'cause all that they serve you are opinionated views. I don't switch on my TV, 'cause all they do is lie. I don't need no programming telling me what to buy. But I believe the truth will set you free. I believe the truth will set you free. I believe the truth will set you free. I believe the truth will set you, the truth will set you free. I believe 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 the truth will set you free.
Hi guys, I want to shout out to my friend Albino Galoppini in Italy. Big hug to you, my friend. To Flavio Schettini, also in Puglia, in Italy. Thanks. He got my book, 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Thank you, Flavio. I hope you do well on your journey, on your flat Earth journey. Guys, I want to ask you if you want to support the channel. And we will have Robert Thursday here next week, talking a little bit more about Antarctica maps. If you want to support the channel, I'm going to place a link in the chat for you to get a map. And let's go back. We have today Sam Abucaya from Israel here. We're talking about flat Earth. He can't sleep at night. He thinks about flat Earth every night, just like me.
Yeah, it's there's nothing. It's never boring. When you look for the truth,
Never.
it's never boring because it's always like
Mm,
there's always something new, always something that you didn't understand confirms something else. And this is great. This is great. This is a constant pleasure.
yeah, it is. I can't stop thinking about flat Earth either. Like even though I've been doing this for since late 2015, when actually it was I started looking at flat Earth in middle 2015, but I was so into politics at that time. Watching the primaries started. I think it started in June of 2015. We had like 40 candidates for the Republican sides and 7 for the Democrat, and I was so much into politics. And I had a favorite channel back then, and she started posting flat Earth stuff. I said, "What's this flat Earth?" I was like, "What's this flat Earth doing here this channel here? I want to listen about politics. And I kept it like, okay, I'll take a look at this, later, later, later. So in November, they had the last debate before they had a break for the end of the year. And then 2016, they were going to restart with all the debates again. And I forgot how you say conferences, the party where they choose the candidates. So there was a break, December. I say, okay, let me now look at this flat Earth stuff, And then I started watching the videos, man. I say, how could I never had thought about it? Because it's so obvious, it's so obvious.
It's like it's very, I compare that to, like, the ocean. When you're on the shore, you look at the sea and you believe, okay, you know what the sea is. You look at the sea, it's blue, it's beautiful. But when you dive into it, it's totally different, and it's much more interesting. You understand? You don't see fishes, when you're on the shore, but that doesn't mean there are no fishes, right? So when you dig into things also in knowledge, it's just as interesting. It's an entire different world. you know all you can see, like, on the shore is just the surface of things. But when
Yeah,
you go deep, the ocean is in the depth. It's not, on the surface. That's not the ocean, just the appearance, external
yeah,
appearance. So that's
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 right.
interesting. And also the thing is that flat earth is like, it's going to ignite general knowledge, because first, you talk about the flat earth and the shape of the earth, then you're going to realize other things, other lies around this, and it's going to spread. You're going to realize who are the people that are lying, and they're lying about everything, about nutrition, about politics, about everything. It's like, just like the sun that goes around the north and along the south. Same thing, it's going to expand, expand, expand. And you're going to understand a whole, you're going to see a whole new world, you know, because of, and it starts like this. It starts with the flat earth. This is why I believe it's very important. And I believe at one point it might, um, I don't want to say take over, but it might, if it is structured, it might be what we can call the, new world order. That means that I believe that those people that want to, make that new world order to the, their way, they're very, very scared of the flat earth. This is why they invest so much against flat earth, because they realize flat earth can, take over, you know and and take their plans and reverse their plan, for the good. And I believe this is what we have to, keep in mind. This is more important than just like knowledge about, the shape of the earth.
Yeah,
It's
definitely. Flat Earth can derail their plans, can completely ruin their plans to rule. You know, you're right. That's why they are so united against Flat Earth.
of course
Eh,
they
Yeah,
cannot imagine how much effort, they've been planning things for like centuries. They've been investing like money without, numbers. It's like it's not trillions, it's like maybe millions of trillions. So you have to think like, why? When you see an enemy investing so much into something, you have to you have to check it out. Something is going on.
yes, yeah,
And of course, when you realize the, what's at stake, of course you realize that they are right to invest so much. They are right, because it's their entire, virtual world that they created that is at stake, that can collapse. And it will.
exactly.
We know it will. But
Yeah,
it's a question of time, and how they know
yeah,
it. We know it. So patience.
yeah. I guess so. We need to, go ahead and I'm. Some people don't like the TikTok flat earthers, but I like them. A lot of them are really passionate, and they don't know a lot, of course, but because TikTok videos like 1 minute, 2 minutes only, but a lot of people have opened their eyes, and some of them came to YouTube. They have their own channels now, and they're doing everything they can to spread the message. But just remember, guys, because we are still a minority, in the middle of this sea of deception. It's everywhere on the TV, school system, everywhere. So it's hard to turn around, but we are making progress. I'm not pessimist about it. I see in Brazil, Sam. I mean, it's so nice to see. There was a guy here on his channel. He just had an architect there or an engineer or something. Totally flat earther. Say, yeah, the Earth is flat. We use flat Earth for everything we do. And in Brazil specifically, I see a lot of people coming out as flat earthers, and they are architects and engineers and stuff like that. High end professionals. And it's so nice to see, man, this
But
stuff.
you see, you have like many kinds of flat earthers. You have the ones like you and I that are going to come up, you know, in the open and just like yell to the whole world that the Earth is flat. There are other people that know that the Earth is flat. That they just don't want to show people they know because they're afraid of whatever they're scared about, for their job or for whatever their reputation, something. And you have our opponents that know that the Earth is flat but just
All
find
of
the
them.
idea. So I think there's a majority of people in the world that know that the Earth is flat, and we can consider flat Earth as a public secret. You know, so it's like it has to be elevated like into the light, but it's known. It's starting to be known. It's starting to be known even in the circles where they don't talk about it. They're starting to realize it. Just they don't know how to manage this. They don't know how to what's going to happen. So next. So that's what
Yeah.
keeps them in the dark a little bit. That's
Yes.
the way I see it. But it's it's progressing. Of course, it's progressing. It's like
Yes.
a volcano, like boiling, about to like explode. But we don't know how it's going to explode. We don't control the the
Yeah.
detonation, the explosion.
It's very hard to people go back to sleep now that we are awake. It's very difficult. They're trying, but it's very difficult. All right, just check the chat here real quick. If you guys have any questions for Sam, we're gonna be wrapping out in the next 10 minutes. And so, Sam, you've been doing some. I saw you were with David Wise. You had Mac too. Any other guys planning to be on your podcast?
One of my objective will be to meet Eric Dubé, which is unbelievable. And with everything he said, a very intelligent guy, very elegant, very agreeable to talk with. I'm sure certain I'd like to meet him. I like to talk to him. Well, maybe he's busy, he's very busy with everything he does, so for now he doesn't seems to answer, but hopefully one day we will be able to do that. And one of
All
my
right.
my not my dreams, I can say like this, is like to have a few of the flat earth veterans talk together. Like you have like Mark Sargent, you have you have David Weiss, you have Eric Dubé, and others that I don't even I don't know all of them, but make like a good podcast, a good meeting, and just like spread the truth, like the way it should be. I believe it's it could be a great experience. It actually, you know what? I don't want to sound like this, but it might be history. We're making history because if it goes somewhere, that movement goes somewhere, we are the beginning of it. So somewhere somehow it's important, I believe, and we have nothing to lose anyways. In the in the
Yeah.
situation we're in, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah. That's right. Well, I hope I know Eric Dubay was doing some interviews a while ago. I haven't seen any new ones, but there was a couple, 2, 3, or 4 months ago. He was like almost every week he was interviewing or being interviewed by someone. So I haven't seen anything lately, but perhaps I would like to see you and him getting together.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be very interesting interview to watch, definitely. So, Eric Dubé, if you're watching this show tonight, there in the US, I think he lives in Maine. Shout out and, have Flat Earth Reconnaissance in the channel. Have a talk with him.
he's a very
Shout out to
spiritual
our,
guy. So,
go ahead, say.
he's very spiritual. He likes the and that's what I like. It's very like he goes high in his reasoning, and very much like it.
Yeah.
The,
He lived here in Thailand, and before the whole COVID stuff, lots of our students. I have a lot of souvenirs here from Thailand. They bring it to me, and they say, "Okay, maybe this year I'll go with you guys. I'll go to Phuket or Phuket. I don't know how you guys pronounce it. Phuket in Thailand." And I had the plans to go and perhaps meet with him there, but then the whole COVID thing happened, and he returned to the US now. So yeah, and but oh, Billy Zig is in the house, Australia. Are you mate? not the Australian house. Okay, Billy Zig, great guy. Author of the Elusive Curve book. It's on Amazon. He interviewed actually Eric Dubay. He had him. I don't know if Eric Dubay had him on his channel or, but I know the interview is out there somewhere. So perhaps. Hey, Bill, give a shout out to Eric. Perhaps he will have Sam Abukaya and talk to him. I Okay. Let me just see here if we have anything else in the chat before we wrap up the show for today. I'm planning to have Matthew Hakim and Robert Thursday next week. We'll be talking, going back to the topic, the Antarctic sun, all that stuff. Man, that thing is, you know, getting crazy out there. A lot of stuff going on. And but shout out to Russian Vids, great guy. I really like him. All right, Sam. So I want to go ahead and let you have final words. And again, you're welcome to be here anytime. And anytime you
yeah,
have like Bible
yeah, it's,
study,
it's a pleasure.
anything you have. So go
Of
ahead
course.
and say your last words.
Well, I'll tell you something. All I can help with is the Hebrew language. That's mainly all I got. I won't be able to bring you like new proofs that the Earth is flat. Those people that we have already made a great job doing this. We have like more than enough proofs that the Earth is flat. But what I can do is like more using the original writings of the Torah to understand our enemies and to point to different things. Maybe we could dig in like at the scientific level, to understand better things. Like for example, like the Norse uh, is apparently described in the Torah as being the lowest point of Earth. So this has to be confirmed that by people digging into that. So all I can do again is like to give you the most correct translations possible of these ancient books, these ancient texts that hold everything, that they hold the knowledge about everything. We have to understand them, study them, but that can help you somehow to give you some pointers, like we say in English. And I believe that's important at that point, especially for that next stage of flat Earth, which I believe is now to start, counter striking our enemies. You have to know who they are, and we have to fight them now. Okay, we know that the Earth is flat. Now, what's next? Next is fight these people, understand what they have in mind, and try to of course keep them from reaching their objectives, which are in all evidence. It's like that they are evil objectives. So this is what I believe, that we now have to go to the next level, and that's my personal fight. So
All
that's
right,
it.
Sam. All right, Sam. One more question from Yashadel, and he has, I just want to make clear for you guys, we have this is a Flat Earth channel. We don't really talk about religion here, except like they are all together to hide Flat Earth. But a question for you, Sam. Ask him if he knows the book of Revelation has begun, please. So I don't know what's your opinion about that stuff. It
I,
matters not about Flat Earth, but just your opinion.
I tell you something. I grew up in Christianism. I grew up as a Seventh Day Adventist. So I know all the New Testament. I know it all. I know I learned it when I was a kid. So I know all these books. As a Jewish guy, I that is a flat earther also. I believe that the truth is in all the books. There's no such thing as a book that doesn't say the truth. The truth is everywhere. In the New Testament, there is also things that we have to dig, we have to check. But I believe the best thing will be to learn them, to study them in their original language, like in Greek and in Aramaic, because it will be more precise. But of course, I know the book of Revelation, and there are lots of things also to be understood out of this. Of course, kidding. That's for sure. 100%.
All right.
But I'm not an expert into that, and more expert in Hebrew.
Right.
That's
All
it.
right. Okay, yesterday. I hope he has answered your question. And Sam will be back here. And also, you can also subscribe to his channel and perhaps, talk to him directly. So, Sam, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks to
You're
you.
welcome to come back anytime. So,
My
guys, we're going to
pleasure.
close the show with my favorite song. And, Sam, what I will do while this song plays, I'm going to get us out of the stream. And then we'll talk later on WhatsApp, okay?
No problem. No problem. Take
So,
it easy.
guys, thank you for being here today, everyone, everywhere, Australia, US, Europe. Thanks again. Let's listen to David J. Carroll, and we'll be back next week. May the Lord allows us. So, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on helium balloon with photos and instruments sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up in temperature, up a dead trapped in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome. Yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light. Supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus is higher than 60 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, keep through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars on the firmament, turn all around us to forever. when they reach for the stars. Explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us. We see through you like air.